Sorry, Senator Roberts.
Thank you. Thousands of casual miners working in central Queensland or the Hunter Valley are each owed, on average, for wage theft, back pay around $33,000 per year for every year of service. That's $33,000 per year. If you're a casual, you're likely owed an estimated $33,000 per year as victims of Australia's largest wage theft. How? It's due to the CFMEU union bosses betraying and controlling workers, because the CFMEU was the sole union in coal mining production. When entities lack competition, they tend to behave with impunity due to lack of accountability. They can do whatever they bloody well want. We support Senator Lambie's bill because it encourages competition for the union and gives freedom of choice to workers, and it portrays fairness. I move to Senator Lambie's excellent bill after closing out the largest wage theft scam because it illustrates yet again the importance of Senator Lambie's bill to protect workers from union bosses, unaccountable union bosses. A team of experienced workplace lawyers, consultants and coal miners reviewed and analysed 5 significant labour hire coal mining enterprise agreements. The CFMEU were involved in, were a party to, or signed all 5 agreements. This is the report of these experts. The Fair Work Commission approved all 5 agreements. The enterprise agreements all underpay the award. The core staff enterprise agreement 2018, for example, yearly underpayment estimated at $22,623. Gets worse. The FES agreement 2018, yearly underpayment estimated at $27,563. The Workback agreement 2019, yearly underpayment estimated at $33,555. The Chandler-McLeod agreement 2020, yearly underpayment estimated $39,341. The Tessa Group agreement 2022, yearly underpayment estimated at $40,645, all due to collusion between the CFMEU, labour hire companies and the Fair Work Commission. The CFMEU signed and approved all. The CFMEU agreed in writing, we've seen the letter, to not pursue complaints that workers raised. Chandler-McLeod Group is a subsidiary, one of the parties to the enterprise agreement, is a subsidiary of the world's largest labour hire company, Recruit Holdings, a foreign multinational. How did this happen? For a decade, CFMEU union bosses have betrayed coal miners. The Fair Work Commission have betrayed workers in approving enterprise agreements paying far less than the award, and the Fair Work Ombudsman has refused, turned a blind eye to it all, refused to get involved. The CFMEU Mining Division, the Fair Work Commission and some large labour hire companies have colluded to screw workers using enterprise agreements that are unlawful. We commissioned, as I said, an experienced team to investigate Australia's largest wage theft case involving thousands of miners across the industry for up to a decade. They were stunned at the brazen collusion between the CFMEU union bosses, employers, Fair Work Commission and Fair Work Ombudsman. Some of these consultants and lawyers have 40 years' experience, over 40 years' experience in industrial relations, and were stunned with what they confirmed happening across our coal industry. The workers' supposed protectors, the CFMEU union bosses and the government's Fair Work Commission and Fair Work Ombudsman, have cruelly betrayed workers en masse. Now, I've written to the current and former members for the Hunter in federal parliament, to the CFMEU union bosses, to Minister Burke. All have done nothing. Nothing. They buried the issue to protect union bosses. Let's move back to Senator Lambie's bill. I support her bill. The issue she raises is symptomatic of many large unions and symptomatic of the decline of the union movement under unaccountable union bosses who are tarnishing the movement. Labor's recent legislation giving enormous power to union bosses will eventually hurt the union movement and unions overall because it entrenches a huge monopoly power to union bosses and removes accountability. The union movement will crumble because of that lack of accountability. Workers will abandon it, as they already are. An essential feature of the Australian workplace scene should be the freedom for workers to choose who they want to represent their interests through having the choice of union that they want to join. There are thousands of women working within the Textile Clothing Footwear Union, currently part of the CFMEU. Many of those women have expressed their dissatisfaction with the representation that the CFMEU provides them through their membership. Unfortunately, many of these members are handicapped, having experienced exploitation, underpayment, intimidation, poor working conditions, often with limited English language. The Labor government, with the Greens, have to date voted to prevent these women from exercising their rights to choose to leave the CFMEU. These women are afraid of intimidation after losing their right to an anonymous vote. Afraid. Women afraid in Australia of union thugs. This was a result of the passing of the draconian Fair Work legislation amendment Closing Loopholes Bill No. 2, 2023. As a coal miner working at coalfaces, mostly underground, around Australia, I've been proudly a union member. Back when the Coal Miners' Union was the Miners' Federation, a strong, honest union. As a mine manager and later as an executive general manager, I dealt with many honourable union delegates who strongly spoke for and served their members' interests. They served their members' interests. The union movement has a proud history, and in Australia that includes a proud history of women playing a lead role in the movement. It's a fact, though, that as a result of some powerful union bosses who could only be described as cowardly, dishonest thugs or possibly criminals, there's been a decline in union membership and the subsequent loss of union power in the Australian industrial landscape. This means a loss of membership funds and other monies that have historically flowed to the Labor Party. Labor hates to lose campaign money. These CTF women do not wish to be members of the CFMEU and to be associated with an organisation that has such a poor reputation and is not providing service in exchange for union fees. In recent years, the CFMEU has been caught selling out their members to benefit large multinational labour hire firms and enrich the CFMEU at the members' expense via unprecedented wage theft. The current Queensland government is trying to prevent the development of the new Red Union that is making inroads into the previous membership of failed mainstream unions like the Queensland Nursing and Midwife Union and the Queensland Teachers Union that have failed to adequately protect and represent their members in disputes with employers. Red Union membership is now almost 19,000 and is rapidly growing in the Nurses Professional Association of Queensland and the Teachers Professional Association. And now it's growing in every state around our country. Teachers and nurses lead the new union and lead the new and rapidly growing unions. Not union bosses, the teachers and nurses lead. Fees are around half those of the Queensland Teachers Union and the Queensland Nursing and Midwifery Union that provides inferior service and donates membership funds to the Queensland labour machine. That's why the Queensland Labor government has stepped in with an attempt to ban the Red Union, to protect the Queensland Teachers Union and Queensland Nursing and Midwifery Union, and to protect millions of dollars flowing to the labour machine election campaigns. So we have the Queensland Labor government trying to ban the formation of a new union because it nobbles them. Queensland union bosses openly and publicly showed their power in appointing the new Premier of Queensland. We saw it in Queensland. Union bosses saying who will be the next Premier, and it's Stephen Miles. What's at stake here is the issue of freedom of choice. These women need to be able to choose who they wish to represent them, and they should be able to make those choices in a secret ballot. This is necessary to ensure that intimidation from thugs is kept to a minimum. I support this bill and I commend Senator Lambie for it. It's solid, effective legislation. It supports vulnerable women and is a further step in recognising the rights to freedom of choice and in determining an important issue of autonomy for women and for all workers. The ability of these women to choose to demerge from the CFMEU must be confirmed. Union membership must be voluntary and there must be freedom of choice as to who the representative should be. And that is for the benefit of the union movement, because with competition choice comes competition, comes accountability. We support this bill, giving women and workers rights that union bosses have stolen. We call for a public and parliamentary discussion on restoring industrial justice and basic human rights and freedom of choice to workers. We applaud Senator Lambie for her bill as another step toward freeing workers from powerful union bosses.